Hey, we are finally live after a short wait on some technical issues, and we're really glad that everyone stuck with us to join us. We had like an impressive group of people that were kind of waiting for us to go live, and I'm glad that y'all stuck with us. So here we are. We're talking tonight about the latest episode of the Federation Files, which is Mother. And let's see. Let me check. See if there's something. Guys, give me 1 second. Like we somehow didn't go live.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Well, it's showing up here on mine.
There we go. Okay, yeah, it's going now. All right, sorry about that. Starting over. So anyway, we're here tonight to talk about the Federation Files film Mother, which was written and directed by Dan Reynolds of the Federation Files and Warp 66 Studios, and very special film that has seen great success in its initial release. It's gotten several thousand views just in the first week. Rave positive reviews from it. It has some unique origins as far as a fan film goes, and it's very different than some of the previous episodes of the Federation Files. So what I want to start off with, Dan, is tell me the I guess the origin of Mother, and then why did you want to make this project?
Well, I had met a gentleman who had retired from Hollywood and moved to Mountain Home, Arkansas. And can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. And I was introduced to him, and we became fast friends because of our industry. He was a writer in Hollywood for many, many years, back in the early 70s. And I think one of his last things that he wrote was probably in the early 90s. And so we became fast friends, and he had written 2 episodes for Star Trek, one for the animated series and the other for Voyager. And finding out that information, I'm like, wow, he's a bona fide Star Trek connection to, what I love so dearly. So as the years went on, we still became good friends. And then he retired from, moved out of Arkansas, and he went to Oregon. And we text back and forth. And one day he was talking about the projects that he tried to sell. And most writers in Hollywood are always trying to sell their work. And he put a list on his webpage that listed maybe 8 or 10 different Star Trek episodes that he tried to sell during the time when Voyager was very popular. And they were all turned down. And I had this idea that how cool would it be to collaborate with him, because we were making, fan films at the time, Star Trek fan films. How cool would it be if I took one of his ideas and fleshed out a real story that he would approve, that we could all, make a Star Trek episode out. And he loved the idea. And then I told him, I gave him 3 different story ideas from his list, and he said, "I like Mother. I want Mother to be written." So for the next few months, I took the script and wrote out a full story. And you have to remember, what he gave me for a synopsis was about a paragraph long. It was based around the character of Kim, who worked on the bridge, and they went down on an away mission, and there was an entity that abducted him and thought that was his child. So that's kind of where the crux to or the core of the story came from. And I wrote the story based on that. And I would send him drafts, and he would chew it up And I wanted this to be a 1 hour episode, a full episode. But over the span of time, he basically was telling me what was wrong with the script. It was too wordy. I was explaining too many details, and he used the word too much word vomit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said, that's typical of new writers, and especially people that write book in book form. They have to explain the details, but when you're doing film or video, you let the visual image tell the story. And he had to break me of that.
Right.
In his own special way. And he gave me some really good tips. And I think that it was a valuable lesson to learn from one of the masters, and especially a Star Trek master.
Yeah, few fan filmmakers get the opportunity to do something that cool or work with someone that experienced.
So I would send him drafts, and he would say, "This is repetitive. This is too much dialogue." Different things, and he basically gave me, a quick course in what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And he said most beginning filmmakers, what they do is they will have dialogue, and they'll have their main character talk for at least 5 minutes about a situation. He said, that's totally wrong. He said, your dialogue should be no more than 3 sentences at a time. And if you have to say more than that, give the 4th sentence to another actor. And if there's still dialogue that needs to be given, you bring in another character to keep it fast-paced, fast-moving. Because we're inundated in today's market with so much information and so many entertainment choices that we have to keep the story going just as fast as possible. And when I wrote the story, he said you need some conflict. You need some a disaster that could befall either another crew member, the ship, or the entity. So I had to write that part in. So it really helped me to understand that a story is not a simple start, middle, and end. It is, you're trying to find conflict as you go in the story.
Indeed. And, having gone through that process many times myself, I mean, I had some of the similar struggles, and you see that commonly in Star Trek fan films, because Star Trek's so like techno-babble centered that we sometimes write wordy scripts, and I've certainly done that before. So, that's always an interesting mountain to climb.
Yeah.
We've got an interesting group of people here that were in the film. I wanted to kind of just give everybody a chance to introduce themselves. Let's start with you, Wayne. I've seen you in some commercials. Just briefly tell us about yourself a little bit, Wayne.
Well, I have been in education all my life, and after I retired from Florida, I moved back to Arkansas, and so I was just looking for something part-time to do. Started teaching part-time at the college, and it's just part-time, so I was just looking around for something else to do. So I started getting into modeling, or finding out exactly what you have to do that. And then once you get into that, you start meeting photographers and writers, and that's how the part with the commercial came about. And then when you start meeting other people, then you start running into some guys like Dan Reynolds, and just start coming up with maybe getting into a Star Trek film and one thing. And so I started doing that, and then doing some extras in some big movies, just playing extras, and just pulling it all together. And it gave me something to do, and really enjoyed it. And it's been a fun time.
All right, Lexi.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
You can't forget, I'm the one who said, Dan, you need Wayne Hawkins as Doc Bell.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yes.
Bless your heart. I didn't know that.
Yes, I worked with you at the college, and I was like, I have the perfect guy for Doc Bell.
Nice.
I certainly
Good
was
work.
working with you at college, but
I'm really impressed with Wayne because he's at an age where he should be sitting on a porch somewhere in a rocking chair.
I don't have a swing.
You don't have what?
I don't have a swing.
You don't have a swing. Well, if I had bought one for you and brought it over to your house,
Well, Dan, I might look like that kind of guy, but I don't think I could really sit on a swing. I would sit on the porch area.
he is an inspiration to anybody that has a love and a passion to do what they want to do. This guy is sought after in the modeling industry, where he is surrounded by young, beautiful women, and he's the only male in the group.
That's an interesting point, though, and an interesting point to make, because filmmakers, they don't write every single part for some person that's 20 years old. You write a story. The story calls for whatever it calls for. So if it calls for anybody from any walk of life, you can be an actor because somebody might be looking for you. And Wayne is in a commercial that you see all over the state of Arkansas right now. Yeah. And he's great in it. It's a really funny commercial that I wish Tyler Donovan would watch. So anyway, but yeah, did a great job as Dr. Bell, and always fun to have on set. Next, we're going to talk to Miss Lexi. Miss Lexi, how did you become involved with Star Trek fan films and the Federation Files? And did you have a great time on this last shoot?
I absolutely had a great time. It was just as fun as the last one I did.
Dan, did you have something? Sorry.
Before we get started, I want people to notice that she's in a padded room.
Oh, yeah.
I'm back in my box.
Trying to keep her from hurting herself.
Go ahead, Lexi. I'm sorry.
No,
anyway,
you're good.
Lexi.
Yeah, no, I'm not like a huge Trekkie or anything, but oh my god, this has been just as fun, if not even more fun, than the last one I did. And I don't know if anyone remembers or have seen it, but like I was an alien in that one, so getting to be from an alien to an actual like crew member was super cool. And it's actually a funny story. I think I told this in the last one too, but so I was actually doing a play. I'm in theater. I love doing theater. Acting and the arts is like my biggest passion. So being able to go from the stage to film is really interesting, and kind of seeing like the different dynamics and like how like it works and how you have to speak and how you have to pay attention to your surroundings differently based on whether you're on the stage or in front of a camera. But so we had just gotten done with one of the shows, and I was eating out with one of my friends who just happens to be the amazing Michelle Reynolds. I love her so much. And we were just sitting and talking, and she had mentioned how she does like the hair and the makeup, and how she has done like some background stuff and some characters in this Star Trek fan film. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love to be able to do camera stuff, because again, theater, acting, I love it. And it just so happens that Dan and Glenn were also at that same restaurant, and they had come over and we just started chatting. And then I can't remember if it was Dan or Glenn that looked at Michelle, then looked at me, then looked back at Michelle and said, "Can she act?" Looking at me. And then Michelle's like, "Oh yeah, she can act." And I'm like, okay, like you say that, but I don't know what they're gonna think. So just kind of like went from there. A few months went by because I think Glenn said that like he might have a role for me, and I'm like, okay, like we'll see. And yeah, no, a few months later, he did Mud's Mission, which is the part 2 to His Name is Mud, and I ended up getting a part, and I had so much fun. So
you're muted.
I am.
No, I was muted.
Oh, she's muted. Yeah.
Oh, you're.
Yeah, Captain Beckman, you are up. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You also were in a previous episode of the Federation Files, and
Yeah, I was a bad guy. Yeah.
you went from bad guy to starship captain. Just tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about yourself.
Well, Dan and I go way back. You know, I used to do the broadcast for Harrison when Dan with Crew 6 way back in the day. And I did play-by-play for Harrison back with Steve Pollard and Mike Duck and all these guys that were doing the play-by-play for Harrison at the time. So I go way back with Dan. And when Dan, you know, I saw what he was doing there at the studio, and I thought it was so cool because I've always been a huge Star Trek fan. I love Roddenberry's writing. I've always loved the whole. I mean, Next Generation was my favorite out of all of them, and so I just love all the storyline and everything else. And when he approached me about it, and he said, you know, you're going to play a bad guy, and I thought, okay, because I really feel like it brought out a persona in me. I'm a good guy, but it's kind of fun playing that, and so I had fun doing that. But the captain thing was a blast when I read everything and I read the script, and I thought, wow, man, this will be really, really good. It kind of fit me as me and my personality. The captain was kind of more of a lighter type of captain where he was serious, like that one scene with Sophie and I where, you know, I was telling her, hey, you graduated with honors, but it doesn't matter here. You know, you're underwater. Everybody starts off underwater. Just relax and learn to breathe and, you know, and learn to swim and don't disappoint me. And I think that scene was really strong. And I was wanting to make sure, and I even suggested to Dan with that scene at the end of me telling her that she did a good job, because I think it was, you know, it rounded everything out. I wasn't just a hard ass, you know, I wasn't just, because she even said, he reminds me of father, you know, so it's like I reminded of her daddy, which is great in some ways, but then it was good. And that I was able to, you know, at the end there to say, hey, no, great job. I was very proud of you. And then Dan even had some thoughts of using, you know, her in the future here as maybe even more of a commanding officer and things like that. And I thought this would be a good way for her to be, you know, get some kudos. But I loved it. I love the, you know, there's anybody that's never done it, they don't understand what it takes, and you have to sit there and then get into character and shoot these things, and it's a little tougher than a lot of people. So I try to, you know, be there and try to get into character. I know I read my lines, and I try to do the best job that I can, just because I want it to turn out well. And, you know, I can always, I never give myself anything other than maybe a C, you know, so I feel like I can get better. But everybody that saw it was really impressed with the storyline, with the acting, you know, and they were in the set, Dan, I mean, everybody was just like, wow, where the hell is this thing? I mean, where do you guys go? And I said, he's got a whole set. He's got the entire setup for this, and which was fascinating to people. And one other thing I'll add is that they thought Wayne's character was Bones from the original Star Trek. People actually thought that. One of my friends were like, man, is that the original actor that was on Star Trek? So I thought that was cool. But yeah, because he does kind of look like him in a way. I mean, as he aged, he would probably look like that. So I just thought it was a lot of fun interacting with everybody, and I had a blast, and I thought everybody did great. And I thought the last scene was really good, because it was, you know, I was sitting there trying to unscramble my brain, and everybody was messing with me. And Kelly is trying to, you know, she's messing with me. Wayne's messing with me. Lexi's messing with me. I'm like, oh, okay, great. You know, so, but I thought that was and it was interesting. We filmed that one first of all of the scenes. That was the first scene that we filmed. So, but anyway, I loved it. I thought everybody did a great job. It was a lot of fun.
Wait, one quick question there, Captain Beckman. Now, Dan did a really good job for this one in particular of getting everyone their own uniform for the shoot.
Yeah.
And they were well fitted, kind of form fitting uniforms. Can you show our viewers what you were doing the entire time in your tunic while you were on set? Can you
what I was
your
doing?
camera down?
Popping my camera, popping my peg. It's a nervous tick. And so I was in the military, and I got ate up after doing that. I mean, every time I get nervous and they yell at me, I start bouncing my pecs, and it would make it worse. They would go, I don't want to see anybody do that except my girlfriend. You understand? And so anyway, I just was. It's a nervous tick sometimes, so I had to watch that because when I would emphasize something on the set when I was rolling, I had to watch it because I tend to with my boys. I go, "Why did you do that?" and pop my pecs. And so I was trying to keep from doing that on film. So,
your peg popping made it to the blooper reel.
oh, did it? Oh no. That's good.
Kelly,
I can't wait to see it.
Oh, that's not gonna.
Kelly, you are the first lady of Warp 66 Studios, and you married this guy Dan Reynolds, and now you're a movie star. Tell us about what this experience has been like for you.
To be quite honest, when I first met Dan, it's one of the first things he told me. I'm like, okay, this guy's telling me this on a first date. This is really important. This Star Trek stuff. What am I getting myself into? But seriously, being involved with his Star Trek stuff, I was, started out behind the scenes, painting sets, just whatever he needed my help doing. But this gave me the first opportunity to actually act. I had never done anything acting wise other than Star Trek. I mean, yes, I've done some book narration and stuff, which is a little bit of acting, but never anything like on screen or anything. This is my first foray into acting, and I really enjoy it. I wish I would have gotten into it a lot younger, because now I tend to look at myself and think, oh my God, that character is about ready to retire.
Yeah.
So, but
well, some people that get into acting they don't really need to be coached. They just have a innate ability, and I think I lucked out on this cast. That I think that's what carries the story in Mother is the acting and the not only that, but these are characters. Anybody can read lines, but the personality behind each character shines through. Even for Cullen down there, he didn't have a lot of lines, but the lines that he did and the action that he gave us on screen was he was the
character.
He was the character. He's a consummate security guy when he was on the planet, and he made sure that all the proper buttons were pushed at the helm.
My favorite scene with Cullen is on the shuttlecraft.
That scene is so cool.
Yeah,
it is cool.
He's taking us down to the planet. All right, everybody ready to go?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
I love it when
I'm like remarkably happy given like the serious situation, but in my head I was just like, I'm the helmsman guy and I get to fly the ship, and that makes me happy. I was like, oh, we're gonna go down to a planet? Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I would totally be excited to do that every time.
This is Cullen. This is your second episode of the Federation Files as well.
Third.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So what has your experience been like working on these films, working with Warp 66?
Oh, it's cool. So years back when the set was being built, I was hanging out in the basement with Southern Confession, local band, because they were practicing down there. And Ty, the head of that, he was like, yeah, there's a guy up there. He's building a Star Trek set. They're going to make fan films. And I was like, oh, I got to get in on that. And I was a theater kid in high school and stuff. So like acting, I like to act. And so I think I was on Facebook, and Miss Massingale, Wanda Massingale, who was my second grade teacher, she posted about being in an episode. And I think tagged Dan or Glenn or somebody, and I reached out to somebody and arranged it. And then my first episode I was in was Doppelganger, and that one I played the same character that I play in this one. and that was fun. It was a lot of fun. I got to like get into it, and I got to die, and getting to die is fun. I've died a lot. And I just try to make that more and more interesting every time. And then the second episode was the Stargate episode. And that was the
Right,
captain.
right.
And that one, Dan and I, we worked on the choreography for the fight, even though it was brief, but we got to I got brought some ideas into it and stuff, like the punching him in the face and then hurting my hand. I was like, well, he's a robot. What if I punch him, it's going to like really hurt. so we worked that in and stuff like that. And that was cool. And then this episode, so as an actor, I don't remember what the right term is, but it's like busy work. So it's like the thing you assign to an actor, like in a scene, like you're going to do this or that to make yourself like seem like you're part of the scene. And so I just got to play with that a lot. Like depending on what the scene called for, I just like tried to work with like, okay. Oh, so
Well,
that's where that came from.
Give credit to Cullen. A lot of people that are in their beginning stages of acting will be either stiff with no emotion. And when I was editing this episode, I would watch Cullen every now and then, and it would his movement and his
He was always on.
yeah, he was always on, and the movement flowed with whatever the scene was. He didn't stand out to be awkward. It was just like, yeah, that's the guy that's piloting the ship. So he pushes the buttons properly and not like a typewriter and that kind of thing. So yeah.
So
I mean, it's our duty to serve the story and like everything else going on. I would hate to be the type of person, or I would hate if any of us were the type of person that was just like, "Ooh, everyone look at me," because that would be so distracting. And we're not. We're all cool. We're awesome.
So Dan, with regards to the Federation files, up until this point, the last episode you directed was Doppelganger, but you've done a lot of the cinematography. This time you moved up to writer and director. What piqued your interest on that and made you want to start that journey?
I think the previous episodes where I did most of the grunt work, setting up cameras, setting the lights, making sure the audio, making sure everything was, working properly. You kind of get, I don't want to say burnout because I'm passionate about all that, but watching the scene and not having any input in it and wanting it to go a certain way, you kind of get an appetite to want to do that. And I wanted to make some comments about your help in taking over the cinematography and the lighting duties of this episode, because it helped me become more of a director and more of a person that could control or direct where the characters, what they said, what they were doing, how they were acting. I could concentrate fully on that. And I know that there were times when you were setting up, I would jump in there and try to help. And you would say, no, don't touch anything. You are the director. We don't want you. We want you to concentrate on the directing. So that helped me keep myself in that mindset of I need to concentrate on the actors and the performance and how the scene plays through. And I like to direct. I like that. Of course, I like to do the other stuff too. But this is more therapeutic. And it's more calming. And it probably helped me write better too.
Well, Dan, let me say one thing. I can could really tell a difference in the lighting on this one and the other. The Doppelganger, it was just simply lighter, prettier. The scenes were more colorful, and it was just fantastic from that standpoint.
Well, the Josh, that's all to his credit.
Yeah, the lighting is fantastic.
It sure was.
Yeah,
Yes.
you don't really consider that when you're watching anything until it pops out at you. The same thing with good audio. If you don't have good audio,
Mhm.
the story is horrible, and
You're
the
distracted
productions
by it.
you're distraction by it. So, Josh, we appreciate you stepping up and helping us with that.
Well, yeah,
Great
you're
job.
very welcome. And I know I've been in that position too, where the thing that I'll say about Dan is I can relate because Dan is that guy who can do your job and his. You know what I mean? Like he can do any job on a film set you can think of. He's done it all. Like he can be an actor. He's a fantastic actor. He can be a cinematographer. He's knows how to do the audio. I mean, there is like literally not a job on a film set that he has not done. And I'm kind of like that too. Only where Dan has me beat is he does his own CG. I that's beyond my ability to grasp with my brain. That's just like the one thing that I said I was never going to learn. Nope, he went and learned how to do it, and so it's like he literally can turnkey a production by himself. And I had this silly thought a long time ago that if you wanted to learn film, you should know how to do everything. And sometimes that can work to your detriment, where you're like, then you start doing a lot of grunt work because nobody else. Well, I don't know how to do that, and so Dan had learned the talent with the camera, and so he ended up doing a lot of that. And sometimes you just want to tell your own story, and I've wanted to tell my own story a lot. I knew that was something that you wanted to do, and being able to see you do it was like, man, I can relate. It's a blessing to be able to watch somebody gain that same happiness, and in the same way I can relate to wanting to jump in on the technical issues and all that, because like, oh, you see that something needs to be connected or something and you jump in wanting to help. And I just had to at one point go to the guy who really needed to do more grunt work, and that was Glenn Wolfe, and say, hey Glenn, we're not going to let Dan do any grunt work. He's the artist today, so if I need some help, you know who I'm coming to. And Glenn was like, just so you know, he couldn't be here tonight, but we're going to make fun of him anyway. But Glenn jumped in, and he did a lot of great work. So,
oh yeah, he's always there.
Huh?
He's always there. I mean, he knows a lot about moving things along fast. And I've been on shoots where Glenn and I have helped other people make their own film, and it drives us both crazy because Glenn is such a consummate showrunner that he wants the production to move quicker, faster, better, and whatever. And he's really good at that. Another person I want to mention that's hardly ever mentioned is our makeup artist that's just had a baby, Michelle Reynolds, which she's no relation to me.
Yeah.
But
she's great.
Yeah, she just had a beautiful baby boy, and she would have been here tonight, but I'm sure she's bottle feeding and changing diapers.
I'm getting a lot of sleep.
I've been seeing the new pictures of her every day on Facebook with that little one.
Yeah,
So cute. He's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh.
When you see the close-ups of some of these actors, that's her job. I mean, that's her artistry right there.
So what was everybody's favorite experience working on this particular film? Again, we'll go kind of around the screen. Wayne, what was your favorite experience working on this project?
Gosh, I'd have to do some thinking about that. I like a lot of it. So just pick out a favorite one. Well, I guess at the end when we were filming this, when we were arriving on a new planet, when that new planet was out in Western Grove, that was kind of amazing to me how we could put that together and then fit it into the film. I didn't realize how much difference it would make or what we were actually doing until I saw it in the film, and I said, oh, we're on a new planet. So It's what that photography can do for you.
Yeah, we went and that was one of my, like bucket list Star Trek fan film things that I had always wanted to do was rock quarry as an alien planet. And I've been wanting to do that for forever. And Dan knew just the right place. And we got to go shoot there for an entire day. And it was so incredibly fun.
It really was. I had no idea how it could come out looking like we were on another planet when we were in Western Grove, but it really served its purpose.
My favorite shot from that was like you mentioned when the shuttle landed. I thought that turned out so well. Like I was watching the shuttle land going, that is really killer.
Yeah.
So and then the part where they walk out from behind the shuttle, and I love the shuttle takeoff where you've got the shuttle bay in the window, and then you go through the doors, and then you're going through space. It was
I've never seen that done before.
Oh no, I don't think we've seen that in like real Star Trek.
Yeah,
at all. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Or we may have seen it, but it's not very much. So Lexi, what was your favorite moment from filming Doppelganger, or not Doppelganger, Mother?
Honestly, the people, getting to work with everybody and just how much like fun that we're having, and just like how dedicated everyone is too. Like we get to put on like this amazing show, and we get to help create and bring something to life that people will enjoy. And it's just a great experience, and a lot of it is due to the people that you get to work with. You're just having so much fun, laughing, and just like hanging out, making jokes. It's just so
Captain
much fun.
Beckman, what was I can tell you one of my favorite moments involves you, but I'm going to ask your favorite moment.
Well, I agree with Lexi. The comedy, just the bloopers and the things that when we mess up or whatever, and keeping it light. And I remember you asked, and that was one thing that cracked me up the most, is when you asked Kelly to record that computer thing on your phone. And I looked at Dan and I said, Dan, does she use that voice at any other time? and Dan just froze. And I thought, okay, that's very telling. That's either like, oh, that's a great idea, or I caught him in something.
Yeah, I think it just came natural.
But it was, I think it was that, and the fact that of the lightness of it all, and when we just have fun, because it's what it's supposed to be, is fun. And I want to try to take it as serious as I can to do the job that I need to do there and be believable, and to stay in character. But there's times that it's just,
it's
I
fun
think
until Dan has
me
to
up.
tell us to stop because we're ruining the shot, right?
Yeah.
But when he causes it, I mean, what are we going to do, right? I mean,
So one of my favorite moments was we get to the rock quarry, and there's all these leaves everywhere, and you broke out your gas powered leaf blower, and so there's this dude, he's like, this jacked muscular guy in a Starfleet captain costume, and he's got this giant leaf blower.
He just happened to appear on another planet.
All over the place.
And of all things, I realized, I got a leaf blower still in my truck. Hang on. I'll go grab it. And I didn't think anything about it. Here I am walking around in character blowing leaves. I should say Captain Beckman's lawn service, that would be great.
Yeah, if that could have been included in the film, that would have really been a killer.
Without these leaves as a fire hazard.
Kelly, what was your favorite part of the process?
I think I'm going to be a little sentimental here, and it was getting to watch Dan be the director and not stressed out, just doing what he wants to do on a lot of films, and that's concentrate on the actor and the story being told, and not have to worry about the lighting and the camera angles and everything else. I think it was nice to see him less stressed out.
Very good.
Less
That's
stressed out.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
I didn't say not stressed out, just less.
We're gonna let Glenn be stressed out this time. Okay, so Cullen, what was your favorite moment working on this film?
Well, I mean, other than like the fun of hanging out with everybody, like doing the bridge scenes, that's usually like the longest. But also because we're all just like hanging out in there, like that's usually when we're cracking the most jokes. And so that's usually like, that's always a good time. But I liked, like we brought up earlier with the shuttle scene, because I didn't have any lines in the script.
Yeah.
And, but Dan, out of the kindness of his heart, he said, "Let the boy speak." And so so we did that little thing. I just improv that thing that I did, and it was just, that's a lot of fun. I like doing improv and stuff. I've always liked doing that. But no, generally just like making it is always a lot of fun.
It reminded me of like National Lampoon, like, you guys ready? You ready to go to Wally World? It was great.
Well,
Hey, a lot of people don't know that Cullen is an awesome guitar player.
Really?
oh wow, is that true?
What? Okay. Well, I guess if we're bragging on me, I've been on the Grammy ballot. I've been like nominated for a Grammy. Yeah, I make music and stuff.
Wow. Wow.
Well, he said he was doing some music when he met you, so that's awesome.
Well, I wasn't doing music. They were doing music. I was just hanging out. I just hang out with music people a lot. Before Guitarsmiths closed, that was my second home, and yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Gus and Matt, they're great guys.
Yeah, Gus and Jim. I go hang out with Jim at his house every now and then still.
Oh, do you?
And,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They're freaking family to me. They've known me since I was a little boy. Like my dad brought me in there when I was little, and I've just been bugging them ever since.
I think that with regard to this film, and this is something that you see in film, when people have a good time making something, that shines through. Like, you can watch the film and see that people enjoyed making it. And I think that that's one aspect about this that really does come through, is that everyone had a great time making it. I think that's especially like something you see in that last scene where everyone, kind of works in the comedy and can open up a little bit. And you could just see how much fun everybody was having and what a good time it was. Dan, for you, this was your show. What was your favorite part of making this film?
There's so many elements to this whole thing, and I really enjoyed, I guess, the acceptance of working with Larry to begin with, and his acceptance of what I was writing, and then to be able to be in a different place mentally, directing everyone, and everybody was saying how much of a great time everybody had. I really enjoy that. I know that some of the first films that I worked on, everyone was in such a collaborative mode, and I think that's what we had during Mother. And just the performances, we could have spent another 3 or 4 months on polishing the performances, but these are fan films, and I'm happy with the final minutes that I worked on this. I was happy with a lot of the CG stuff that came about. I'm always amazed at what I think in my mind and how it's going to look. It always turns out different, or sometimes even better, when you finally do the final edit on these things. And I really concentrated on the music this time, in trying to not be so restricted on playing full Star Trek themes. I cut a lot of music cues up and tried to match the scenes with what was going on. And I really enjoy the music part of it too. So it's just not one little thing, but there's a lot of things there. And I enjoyed working working right alongside with Kelly. I really appreciate her when she is a part of our productions. I can always look to her and lean on her, and we get to spend time together, and it's just an overall fun thing.
I'm kind of jealous of how cool that was. The way that you guys worked together on this and were able to share it. I thought that was really sweet. And, I could tell that Kelly was having a great time throughout the whole process. I mean, she was a joy to work with, and she really helped me out and took care of me in times when I needed some help. So it was probably, for me, the most fun fan film experience I had filming last year. I mean, by far, it was the most fun fan film of the year for me. I just had a wonderful time doing it.
I have to admit, I'm sorry, Josh. It just popped in my mind with us walking off with Kelly. The one thing I remember we were supposed to come when we beam back. The ship is having trouble, so we're having to act like it's unstable. And we both tripped over our shoes on the way out, and then everybody almost started laughing. It was perfect. We only had to cut it once, right, Kelly? Because we both tripped unintentionally coming off the transporter deck. So I thought it was hilarious. We both started cracking up laughing when Dan said cut, because I thought we didn't even have to act on that.
I noticed it because I've done the same thing. For some reason, those boots don't always fit our feet. And when you start taking steps, if you have on a pair of shoes that's 3 or 4 sizes too large, when you start walking down that it doesn't want to cooperate.
I felt like
now I gotta say though, do you remember the old boots?
Oh yeah,
ones where the soles were split in two, so they were like clappity clap every time you step.
So with the boots, those are like, Glenn just has a huge stock of boots, and it's like, okay, hey, see if these fit you, and and so you're always just trying to get the closest thing, but he's got like, I don't know how many sets of boots he has, but it's like a huge collection, and you just find
there are plenty to choose from.
And none of them fit me. None of them fit me.
Kind to work, because it's a specific kind of boots in Star Trek.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, he's got it, but it's it's not the most comfortable thing to wear.
Yeah.
I felt like being Agador Spartacus on the birdcage. Oh, no, do not wear shoes, because when I do, I fall down. That's what I felt like. I'm like, oh no, I cannot wear shoes.
You cannot handle my guatemala. I wrote a college essay on that movie.
I sent a new character.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I don't do that. Yes, very much so.
Agador, sweetie.
So with Dan, you see, up until now, you've done so much of the editing, and I don't think people realize how much of the personality of a film is shaped by the editor. And so there's so much about the personality of the Federation Files that you see that comes from what you do. Now you've tailored the entire process, and so you've got a film that has really your watermark on it. Now that it's done and it's out there, what does that feel like for you, and are you happy with how it turned out?
Yeah, I am. I know that when you do someone else's work, like Glenn writes most of the scripts, but when you do your own project, I don't want to say that you feel more satisfied, but there's a certain level of satisfaction that goes along with that, and an accomplishment bigger than you would if you were getting paid for a job. So it being a project from inception to post, it really makes me feel whole, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, getting to see a project done is like one of the greatest feelings ever.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I made this, and then you're like, and I get to show other people now?
Yeah.
I think the coolest thing, Dan, was whenever the countdown, we're sitting there on the premiere, and I was in this countdown, 1, 5, 6, 4, 3. I was like, oh, this is so cool. It's counting it down. So it was really good.
Yeah, that's a really cool part about doing the premieres online is you get that countdown.
Yeah.
Now, Dan, you talked about the music. That's
Mhm.
always been like one of my favorite things that you do is the way that you integrate TOS music into the Federation files. You've got kind of an original theme song that you use.
Yeah.
You recognized really early on, what a big influence the TOS music has on the overall composition. You went deeper into it. How do you feel that shaped this film?
Well, like I said, I in previous films I would use um, use full clips of the music and try to
Fit the scene.
fit the scene. Yeah, fit the scene to the music. But this time, and we took a cruise a couple weeks ago, and on the on the way home, I would listen to. I've got on my phone. I have every episode of the original series on audio tape. So I listened to that through the stereo system, and I started paying attention to how the music cues were inserted in certain scenes, and a lot of times there would just be like a couple bars of a cue, and then it would go into another completely different music theme. And I thought, wow, I don't necessarily have to put a whole section in to match a scene. I can go in there and cut that up. So I approached this episode that way, and I think it jumps off more alive than what I've done in the past, if that makes sense.
Definitely. And how do you feel like it changed the overall composition once you were able to kind of chop it up like that and find the right piece of music for the right moment?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you watch something without sound, it doesn't have the same impact if you don't have the right music. And I've seen a lot of fan film productions that you wonder why they chose that music because
Right.
It's
Definitely.
like wearing flip flops at a
Black tie event.
at a black tie event. Yeah, and it just doesn't fit. And I know it's a personal thing and it's a personal choice, but and some of the music I may choose wrongly, but I just felt, and I do spend a quite a bit of time on the music once it's completely done. But that's one of my favorite parts is the music part.
And then my last question for you, Dan, before we get to the blooper reel that we have for everyone. You are doing your own CG for these films, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So few people do that. What is that journey of becoming a CG artist in addition to everything else that you do?
It's not an easy journey, and Cullen is a good animator too, and he knows the trials and tribulations of what you have to do. But I am nowhere near where I want to be. There's so much depth to CG animation that I don't build models. I try to find models and then tweak them a little bit, change the structure of them a little bit to suit, like the Detroit version that I used in this episode. It had a flat shuttle bay door, and I built the one like on the Enterprise where it opens up and curls around and that kind of thing. So that took a couple 3 or 4 days to build. It's quite daunting, and like I say, I'm just beginning to learn. I'm not a professional in any way.
Yeah, don't call Dan when he's in the middle of trying to build one of those things.
Oh my goodness. Well, like I said, in that regard, you're a better man than me because I wouldn't even try to do that. So,
Yeah.
well, we've got the thing that shows through the biggest about how much fun everybody had is the blooper reel. And Dan gave me the official completed blooper reel before we came on.
Oh boy. Oh
So
boy.
Yes.
we're gonna watch that now.
No.
Oh, good.
Okay, let's see it.
Action.
Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna turn my camera.
Dinky, is that you? Come closer. I can't see you very well. What? So good to see you again.
Okay. Let's go.
For further analysis.
I ran diagnostics on my comms console and I'm unable to decipher the unusual frequencies.
Let's get all the science.
Pork.
We'll start over.
We'll go
All right. So everybody else did good.
From the top, okay?
All right, here we go.
Continuous roll.
Here we go.
Quiet, please.
So let's get an away team on the surface and find out about this new life form.
Well, if it is a sentient life form, let's see if it's not hacking anything off. And, asked for that one, didn't I?
Action.
Well, cartology has mapped the
It's all right. At the top.
Cartology has mapped the area, but without a direct way to gather.
It's all right. No problem.
Cartology has mapped out the area, but without a direct way to.
It's fine, babe. Just go back to the top.
You got it, Kelly.
Yeah. I think the word minimal.
Minimal.
Minimal. I mean, you're saying, am I hearing that wrong?
Minimal.
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 Minimal. Minimal. Minimal pause.
Minimal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Minimal.
That's what.
No, you're saying say
Men, like
Minimal.
women, men.
Minimal. Okay.
Action. Okay, double take. Oh, that's too much. It's.
This is so hard.
I don't want you to.
I
don't
know,
want you
but
to go
I
down.
like okay.
It's a really subtle thing. It's look,
You're looking and then you look.
look, and then look, and then okay, look, and then look again. Flicker lights. Okay, double take. Now don't lean forward. Just your head.
Just my head. I
Just your
literally
head.
look and then I look back.
That's exactly what we want you to do. Exactly that.
Were you recording?
Jeez, I hope
Yeah, but she talked in the
She
middle of
gets,
it.
she's
Yeah, it's
smiling
not-
and talking.
it's not-
That's it. That was it. Okay, keep flashing. And double take. Okay, do it one more time, but without leaning forward.
Don't lean forward.
Don't lean forward. Double take. That'll work.
Nice.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Mother, 14C, take 1.
Action. Energize.
Hi, Captain.
Is anything wrong?
There seems to be a flight.
Seems to be a flight problem.
Yeah, there's a flight problem. Okay, let's start it again.
All right.
Engineering. Send a maintenance. Damn it. Maintenance team. Engineering. Send a maintenance team to the transporter room.
To do a diagnostic, I think.
Or council. I thought it was 2 sentences.
Do you want me to read it to you?
Let me see if I can get it. Engineering sent a maintenance team to the transporter room for console diagnostic. That's what's going to get me.
Console?
Console.
Console.
Console diagnostics.
Console.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Ready. Okay.
Just so you know.
Go ahead and slate it. Any day now.
Mother, scene 16, Alpha, take 4.
All right. I see your hand. I'm a little farther back.
Hand.
Yeah. Still saw it. Okay, go ahead.
I just broke it. I just broke it. So.
Perfect.
Captain, something is blocking me from locking onto her. I do have a lock on everyone else, however.
Okay.
Let me see what the line actually is.
Okay.
Captain, something is keeping me from locking onto her. Oh, I have a solid lock on everyone else. Solid lock.
Would you feel better if you said I'm having a hard time locking on to Brennick's or not?
Do you want me to? If you want me to add lib, if I wrote it,
okay,
I would have said I can't seem to get a lock on her, but I can get a lock on everyone else.
That's good. I want it to sound like you're saying.
Like I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll
we
do an ad lib.
Okay, Beckman to transporter room.
Aye, Captain.
Get a lock on Brennick's, isolate her signal and beam her up immediately. Pushing buttons, stops and repeats. Pushing buttons.
Captain, I can't seem to get a lock on her. I do have a solid lock on everyone else, though.
That's exactly how it's written in the script. Are you going to do a
for your first?
Maybe,
yeah.
For your first move, Colin?
Yeah.
Because this move is this is the
Do what?
I was going to tell her not to
Yeah,
look back
so
this way.
we're trying to
at
not
the end of
see
the
that
shot.
move. So this one's pretty loose. So maybe just take it that far because you see it didn't move, and then it'll just be
this way.
because this one could get bent
of you
on
guys
something.
later.
But this one moves
So-
so easy.
so
So those
basically,
two
at the end of the
will
scene,
be the
you're
ones
kind
to
of
play with.
focusing
But don't
on
go all the way down
looking
because
at
then this
view
moves.
screen.
Okay.
Gotcha. Do you want to call action too for when I turn around, or just
Yeah, I
let me
can.
give it some
I
time?
can do that. I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. All right. Sleep.
Mother scene 25 Alpha, take 2.
Main viewer, what have we been experiencing the past 24 hours?
Not sure what you mean, Captain.
What keeps harmful radiation from penetrating this ship?
Titanium plating on the hull, sir.
Correct. Look at that planet. What is the chemical makeup of that planet?
Just the normal components that make up most planets, Captain. What's your point?
The point is,
Excellent.
Cut. That's a threat. Yeah, man. You ready? Okay.
This is take 2 on the
Take 2.
planet-wide.
And there's cows in the background on this planet.
Those are space
Aliens.
cows.
Space cows. Just squint. Move around just a little bit. Now, it's almost like you're laughing. Okay.
Was that
Do the
okay?
hokey pokey
I
and
don't
you
know.
turn
I don't know
yourself
how to
around.
do that.
Just kind of. Don't show your teeth. No teeth.
No, it's just you look like you're constipated.
I am constipated.
Okay.
That's the whole idea. This
Okay.
entity is upsetting your whole digestive system because you're going to eat stuff later.
Like that?
No, that's too much.
No. Okay.
Just frown.
I didn't think to do a blooper either.
I'm ready.
Okay, do we slate this one? Everybody gone?
Everyone walked away. We'll just go ahead and give him a clap. I'll give him a clap in front of his face.
got it.
The shot is Captain.
Swole.
Okay, all right.
Okay, all right, yeah, we're rolling
There we
now.
go.
Okay, reslate it.
Reslate it, yeah.
Mother scene 32, take 1.
I'm not waiting on action.
You have to wait.
Ready.
Set, ready? Action.
So what happened to Brennick's on the surface after she was released? Yeah, that's your line. That's my look at you. Okay, here we go. Sorry.
Okay. Continuous row back to the top.
Yeah, okay.
Scene 32, take
I'll
1.
say, did she, and you'll know that your line doesn't sit after mess. I'll say, did she have a medical issue, doc? And then you just one word.
You gotta clap because that's the
basic.
Right.
And he
not treated her.
Okay, places, guys. We're ready.
Yeah, it's looking all right.
So that's
hand me that
that's
script.
right. Yes, there.
Then we're going to do that one last line.
That's
No
a
one
totally
say
different
anything.
genre of Star Trek.
We have more than one.
Yeah, there's more than one.
I got it. Okay, so let's not else S on with helm. S with crystals.
Yeah, move your S around.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Move your S around, would you?
Move your S around.
Move that S, buddy.
If we're gonna recharge the crystals, I need all the negativity to just.
I want a negative charge on the crystals. Got you.
Is that?
All right, rolling.
Okay, Slate.
Mother, 32 Foxtrot, take 1.
Mother, scene 6A, take 3.
Action. So I've read your profile. You graduated from Starkville on previous students.
Yes, sir. Very good.
You excelled in the 4077 dimensional studies, and you have some L-oriented DNA ancestry. I find that fascinating. Did I miss anything?
Yes, sir. I mean, no, sir.
Other than you're underwater.
Sir?
You graduated with high marks, but you're on my ship now. None of that matters. Everyone starts out underwater at Renix. So just relax and learn to swim. Don't disappoint me.
Okay. It's cold out here. Oh my gosh, it's
My
cold.
toes are frozen.
It's only freezing. Don't complain. No, good. You can dance too. We like the behind the scenes stuff where everyone's having fun when we pay them.
He's working over here.
Pecs. Pecs.
I'm your captain.
That was great.
Okay. So that was all the fun that was making that film. What I take away from that is that I'm kind of mean. I'm like, okay, Lexi, you can put that Slate in there any day now.
That was fantastic.
What a great group of people. What a great cast and crew. You guys made such a wonderful film. It really is the heart of fan films, this sort of thing. This is why we do it. Any closing thoughts on just the experience and what you want to do next?
I can't thank everyone enough. I mean, it's difficult to get people to do things, even if you pay them. But this just goes to show that people are really passionate about being creative and doing things that you love. And I'm just so grateful that everyone stuck it out all these months, producing Mother and cranking out the great performances and putting in all the hard blood, sweat, and tears that went into this. And thanks to people not only in front of the camera but behind the camera too.
And you mentioned that it took months. We started shooting it in the fall, and you had it out by February. As far as fan films go, that's a pretty fast timeline.
Yeah.
So I have one that I shot almost 2 years ago now that I haven't finished. So I think that's a pretty impressive turnaround time for a fan film. Some have gone 10 years, some of them have gone 40 years.
Yeah, this one.
I think there's a reason we don't hear from Dan when he's doing it.
He's a little busy.
I'd love to do another one with the same cast. I think
definitely.
We've got a good formula and a good mix of characters, and they are characters. They're not actors. I want to label them as true bona fide characters.
My mother used to call me that as well, character. So that's good.
We're going to get a new captain, though. By the way,
What's that now?
I said we're getting a new captain.
We're getting a new captain. Okay, I got it. All right. I'll go back to the bad guy, maybe. Who knows? But I want to tell everybody I really enjoyed it and enjoyed being on set with you, Josh. You did a fantastic job. Dan, I mean, no matter how hard we worked, you worked 50 times harder on this. It was really great to be involved. I know how much it took on your end and the way you were working to get this done. And it turned out immaculately well. It really did. Everybody that I've sent it to just brags about it. They're like, where the heck is this place? I mean, you guys got sets, you know, these. And I said, oh, man, it's as realistic as it gets. And it kind of gets me into character. It enabled me that the sets and everything allowed me to kind of get into character because it really felt like I was there. So it does help for sure. So good job.
Well, I, for one, would love to do another film with this cast. Same ship, same group of people. Yeah. Have a blast yet again. I'm always up for it. You guys are wonderful. Dan, I think you did a fantastic job, front to back. Great script. The shoot was a dream to do, and that's really the most important part, I think, to me, is that the process of shooting the film be fun and be enjoyable, because that's why people get involved, and it really was a great time. Yeah. And then on the back end and the edit, the music, the whole thing, the sound design, fantastic edit, fantastic final film, just the total package beginning to end. If anyone who is watching us has not seen the full film yet, I put the link for it in the description of this video. It's also in the chat here. Go check it out. And if you have seen it, go watch it again because it's worth watching more than once.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I want to, the people that have not seen it or the people that have seen it, one of the best compliments that anyone making these films can get, and for me personally, is that we came close to touching what the original series did in some way or another.
Oh, absolutely.
I always try to achieve that when we do these things. So watch it.
I absolutely feel like that you and Glenn do just like this amazing job of being faithful to the original. Yeah. And I know how much you love the original, Dan. I mean, I've hung out at your house, and the first thing you did was put on an episode of TOS when we got to your house, you know. And Dan's a gracious host too. Like he'll let people sleep at his house. He'll make you breakfast. You know, he's got a pot of coffee ready to go. He and Kelly are just like the quintessential example of the nice Southern couple that just wants to like be there for everybody. So it's just a fun experience again. So happy with how this turned out. Yeah, they're asking for sequels in the chat. So let's do it, man. Everybody. So yeah. And with that, go check out the Federation Files. There's a treasure trove of great episodes to watch. I frequently do a Federation Files marathon where I watch all of them all the way through. I recommend it. It's a great way to hang out on a night. So with that, there you go. Mother by writer-director Dan Reynolds with this great cast on the Federation Files YouTube channel. Go and check it out. And
appreciate it.
Unless anyone else has anything, live long and prosper.
Peace.